This is Ryan at xcannabis.com. What is it, November 27, 2012. And, I've had a couple conversations on my comment sections here at YouTube about I502. Some of these people who are supporting it, understandably supporting it, I get where they're coming from, keep asking me, well, why are you so negative? People can legally possess an ounce of weed. Isn't that right? Isn't possession legal in Washington? Well, no, it really isn't. Tell me, which substance in the Controlled Substances Act is legal to possess in Schedule 1? Any? Can you possess any of them that are in Schedule 1 legally? Doesn't Schedule 1 mean that it's illegal? Okay? Just ask yourself these questions. So, if it's in Schedule 1, is it legal? Answer equals no. Right? That's my answer. Is cannabis still a Schedule 1 in Washington? Yes. Right? That's my answer. Look it up. So, is cannabis legal in Washington in any way, shape, or form? No, it's not. Is there a narrow legal exception that tells cops not to arrest you for an ounce of weed? Yes. It's a narrow legal exception. It is not legal. It is not legalized. Anything in Schedule 1 is not legal. Now, I've been predicting that there's not going to be any dispensaries, just like I predicted in SB 5073 that there's not going to be any dispensaries. The ACLU and NORML said there would be. In SB 5073, all the way up until April before it passed, Russ Belville and other articles from NORML said that there's going to be dispensaries, there's going to be, home grows, there's going to be this, there's going to be that, and it's, you're going to have arrest protections, no arrest protection was given. No legal dispensaries were given. I said that all of that stuff was going to fail. Governor vetoed it. It failed. They took away rights in SB 5073. Section 301 screwed up the doctor-patient relationships, removing exclusive protections from doctors. Section 404 took away provider protections to say that a provider can serve any patient at any given time, or serve any one patient at any given time. So those two sections being removed, and the fact that the other sections, like the arrest protection and the dispensaries, not being implemented, made the laws for medical marijuana worse in Washington. Russ Belville said that it would be the best thing to happen to patients in Washington ever. I said he would be wrong before it passed in April. After it passed in April, he was wrong. Okay? I502. There will not be any dispensaries given in a Schedule 1 substance in Washington State. If it's Schedule 1 in state law, like it is, there will be no dispensaries. Russ never mentioned that. NORML never mentioned that. The ACLU, well, in fact, Allison Holcomb did mention that at questionland.com. She did say that before they even introduced I502, that there wasn't going to be any dispensaries based on state law and federal law and the conflicts that arise within. And now there was things they could have done to make that option more plausible, like removing it from Schedule 1. That's all they really had to do to make the state more likely to make dispensaries happen. They didn't do that. So there's not going to be any dispensaries. Mark my words here, in 2014, when we don't see any dispensaries in Washington, you'll know I was right. And you'll know NORML and the ACLU was just selling you more, false promises and propaganda to help their buddies who are lawyers or who are insurance companies who have donated to I502. That'll make them happy. It'll make the sponsors of I502 happy. The people are going to get a ram job. This is just another way to bend the people over the counter, take their pants off and screw them. That's my point. What you got out of I502 was little in comparison to what you gave up. In court prior to I502, you could go in if you got, a DUID and say, hey, I passed all the field sobriety test. I realized my blood nanogram per milliliter level was 15 at the time. However, I was driving straight. I was obeying traffic laws. The cop said my blinker was out. Then he said he smelt marijuana. Then they tested my blood. I did the field sobriety test in between all of that, and I passed them. But the blood sample said that I was, over the, possible limit of sobriety. And well, the point is that I was sober. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't break any traffic laws. I passed the field sobriety test. The jury doesn't convict. After I-502, sobriety, impairment, that isn't an issue anymore. Impairment isn't the problem. It's whether you have over 0 nanograms if you're under 21, and if you have over 5 nanograms if you're over 21. That's it. There's no other consideration to worry about. That's the only question they're going to say in court. That's the only question they're going to ask is, were you or were you not over 5 nanograms? Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people driving who are over 5 nanograms that never get busted. That's not the point. The point is that they're driving illegal. So there's new prohibitions, there's very little legality, and there's no way that anybody can call I-502 legalization if it's still illegal to pass a joint, gift a nug, drive over 5 nanograms. You can't buy it, procure it, grow it at home. You know, all of the rest that goes with it. It can't not be considered legalization, but it all hinges on the Schedule 1 thing for me. If it wasn't Schedule 1, I could possibly go for the, hey, it's legalization with a whole bunch of new crap on top of it. But yeah, it's legalization. But since it's Schedule 1, it's not legalization. Let's not set stupid precedents for other states to follow. That's a dumb precedent to say, hey, this is legalization. All the other states should follow suit and jump on board. That's what Allison Holcomb says, that this is the right way to do it. Let's do this in all the other states. I say let's not. I say let's not use Washington as a good example. Rather, let's use Colorado as a good example. Colorado, while not perfect, is a much, much better example of legalization, or of a step towards it. You can at least have home grows. You can at least procure your marijuana legally. I-502, you cannot get marijuana legally. You cannot obtain it in any legal fashion whatsoever. And in 2014, when there's no dispensaries, mark my words, that'll be the case. And I'll still stand true to it now, just like I did with SB 5073. I predicted exactly what would happen with SB 5073, despite all of the propaganda from NORML and the ACLU. I was right, they were wrong. With I-502, I am going to be right, they are going to be wrong. Separating the sheep from the goats, buddy. That's all.